When the fires die down and the guests are full, the only thing left to do is enjoy the company. Best done with a fresh cigar and a cold drink. This is After the Cook.
Woo! And it's time for another one. Here we go, baby. How we doing today, buddy?
Oh, man. I'm fat and lazy. Yesterday in the States here, it was Thanksgiving. And you know what that's like. It was a lot of cooking, a lot of hosting, a lot of eating.
That's awesome, buddy. Did you hammer the turkey or what?
I did not. I abdicated turkey duties to my next-door neighbor who cooked a fine bird in his pellet grill. Yes, he cooked it in a pellet grill, and that's okay. And I did the ham. I had a really nice curboot ham that I smoked, double smoked, and then glazed. So yeah, I did the ham.
Snake River Farms Carabuto ham.
A Snake River Farms Carabuto ham, and I did an orange and bourbon glaze. It was pretty darn good.
Well, that sounds fantastic. I have to be honest with you. Our Thanksgiving is like a month or so earlier than yours. When I get to see how hard you guys hit that Thanksgiving, I'm serious. I am probably going to cook a turkey this weekend just because I miss it already. So
yeah,
it's crazy.
I didn't do as many pre-turkey posts as I normally do. It just has been an odd time for me to create new content lately, and so I could stand to cook a turkey. Actually, I miss a good. I don't have no leftover turkey. We ate it all yesterday. I don't have a turkey sandwich. I don't have a turkey. I can't go in the fridge and dunk a turkey in the stuff. I got nothing. I have a little bit of ham left over, but that's about it. I don't have the traditional Thanksgiving leftovers.
It's crazy. My go-to on that note was always cold turkey in a sweet bun, and I would douse that thing in mayo and then cover it completely in pepper. So it would be just a black top under a pillow of mayo with cold turkey, and I would just hammer that thing so hard.
That sounds unbelievable. When I was like 18, it was like the first Thanksgiving that my dad and I kind of got drunk together. I was old enough to drink with my dad, and he had friends over, and it was a big Friendsgiving, Thanksgiving thing. And so the next day we were waking up, both a little slow, a little thick in the head, after a good night of drinking with your pop. And we met in the kitchen around 11 a.m. He's in his bathrobe. I'm just like in my shorts and stuff. And without a word, we just start getting all the leftovers out of the fridge. And then he gets out the food processor, and in goes the turkey, in goes mashed potatoes, in goes stuffing, and gravy. And then he pulses it all together until he makes like a pate. Then he gets 2 pieces of sourdough bread and toasts them. Smears mayonnaise on each side, salt and pepper, and then he takes this Thanksgiving leftover pate and puts that all over the toasted sourdough bread with a smear of cranberry relish, slices that sandwich in half, and again, words were not spoken, and he just hands me this condensed piece of Thanksgiving leftover, and it's still one of the best Thanksgiving leftover memories of my life.
That's incredible. That sounds
insane.
Fantastic.
It's amazing. I don't even know why I haven't done it again. I'm afraid to try. I'm afraid to even touch the greatness that was my dad's Thanksgiving leftover pate.
Oh, that sounds so good.
So good.
Oh, well, I'm happy to see you're not out shopping. It's Black Friday today, so...
I've never once done a Cyber Monday, Black Friday, anything. The consumerism in America that drives that mentality is something that's off-putting to me, and I don't do it. I'd rather spend more money than sit there and subject myself and my family to that experience.
I love it. Yeah. In Canada, we always had a good chuckle about how hard you guys hit that Black Friday. The juggernauts rushing the Walmart at 5 a.m. and trampling the elderly and stuff. It's insanity to me. It's crazy.
It's just crazy. It's just absolutely crazy. But no, I'm at home. It's actually beautiful. I'm really looking forward to your visit next month. I was just talking to Jordan about that. We've had a weird spell of what's cold here, which is like 65, 70 degrees and gray. Today is 85 degrees, sunny, hot. I was just in the pool 30 minutes.
I can't wait. I cannot wait to get down there, brother, because I was just out in freezing rain. I was just out in the freezing rain in the hot tub with my kids'
video that you sent was hilarious. I was trying to figure out what that was, and you were like, "It's freezing rain." I'm like, the cover.
Yeah, it's pretty gross. Pretty gross. My kid's got this tiny little toy umbrella, and it's like any port in a storm at this point. That's like I can't even
Have you
imagine.
finished AT-AT? Have you finished building your?
Yeah.
Tell us the update, dude.
So she's done. She's done, and because my kids have taken such a curiosity to this massive Lego set, right?
Yeah.
The wife has allowed me to put it in the bedroom on top of our super tall dresser.
Oh, nice.
So I'm kind of winning now in the bedroom department because now I have one piece of Star Wars yeah. So I ended up buying little LED spot lamps as well.
Yeah.
So in the middle
you
of the
got
night, that's
cool
my night light
lighting.
now. It's just like just randomly lit up in the corner. It's pretty badass. So
Now, there's a long debate in the Star Wars community. Is it AT-AT or AT-AT? How do you pronounce the name
it's
of that
the AT-AT
vehicle?
Yeah,
Okay.
there's
Interesting.
nobody says AT-AT in the
Well, it
Star
could be
Wars.
a States versus Canadian thing because I hear
isn't.
AT-AT all the time.
That's because it's the all-terrain armored transport. That's it.
I know what it stands for.
That's it.
I know what it is.
Fantastic.
Do you remember the first time seeing those things when you
Yes.
were a kid? It was,
Yes.
oh, I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
So
No,
cool.
I fell in love with them instantly.
So have you, I know you're not a big Star Wars with Disney and the streaming. Have you watched The Mandalorian? Have you
Oh.
watched, so you finally have caught up with that. You
Yes.
know what's been on the down low and I had no idea? It's been out and it's done already is Andor. I thought I'm still waiting on Andor. Do you know what Andor is?
I
Have
know
you
it's
seen
I know
Andor?
it's there. I know it's there. I have yet to watch it. Don't hate me. I have yet to watch Obi-Wan.
I'll be very interested to your thoughts on Obi-Wan. I, like anything Star Wars, liked it, didn't love it, didn't think the writing, and they introduced a fight scene between Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi
Yeah.
that happened after Darth Vader became Darth Vader, but before Episode 4, where we all know about the
Yes.
reunion of, and it sort of took the specialness of Episode 4 away from me. It was Episode 4 was like they haven't seen each other since the day that he was made into Darth Vader. So
Yeah.
it sort of watered it down a little bit that they had a fight that we did not know about.
No, I
just ruined the show for you.
thank you. Perfect. I can't wait. to
Right
see
after
it.
you tell me you didn't see it, I just
Well,
shit all over your experience.
our special guest today, who's going to be joining us right away here, I don't even know if he's a Star Wars fan, so I'm quite interested to ask him this. But we should tee him up because I think it's about that time.
Well, I know he has two incredible young sons. In fact, I think
Yes.
he has two. He may have more, but I see them a lot in his posts. So, I would be shocked if he didn't have some Star Wars awareness. But who knows what kids are into these days? Maybe it's Minecraft. I just don't know, Mel. I don't know.
Minecraft.
Have you ever played Minecraft?
Oh, buddy, I've got an 8-year-old that is like lives there. Yeah. So, yeah, it's a good time. I don't know what it is with kids, but right now she's all crazy about horror stuff. She's
Really?
really pushing the horror stuff. Yeah, she's
Like your normal everyday household horror stuff, or like the really creepy stuff where you should be worried about your daughter?
creepy. I'm worried about. Yeah, you know how it
Oh,
is.
dude. I got to tell you, I've never talked to you ever in my life, Matt, but your hair, I've got massive hair envy. I swear, and your hair grows faster than anybody I've ever seen in my life. I'll see some posts of yours and like, I'm donating my hair to charity, and 3 months later, you got long hair again. I can't even grow my beard out in a week, and you've got long hair.
Ladies and gentlemen, Matt Groark. There you go.
What's happening,
Yeah.
dude? How was your Thanksgiving?
It was good, man. We had some family over. I've been fighting congestion and sickness and all that shit for the last few days. So,
No, you're lying, dude, and I know exactly where your voice is gone. You were yelling for Dallas to lose last night.
God,
And that's exactly why you have no voice this morning. Now, you're trying to be kind to your fans in the Dallas area, but that's the truth, and we're here to find out the truth.
yeah. There's some games every season that you got to pick, the best of two evils. And, yesterday the Giants were definitely the ones I was rooting for. So
It's a tough choice being in the NFC East, though.
I'll take it, man. I'll take an NFC East that's as strong as it is this year over, the brutality that we've had to watch in previous years.
I mean, you may have a few years on you, but you're old enough to know that the NFC East used to be where it all came and started. The NFC East was the crowning jewel of the NFL.
Powerhouse,
and it's
man.
good to see them return to some prominence,
It
my
is.
man.
It is. I'm stoked. But my old ass can't do these late games, man. The last two home games have been Sunday and Monday night games. I can't do that anymore, man.
What's late to you guys? Just out of curiosity.
So the last game I went to was the Monday night game. And God, you don't get home from a Monday night game until like 1:30 a.m., something like that. And then have to wake up at 5 for school the next day. I did the Monday night game, but I can't do them back to back. This week's Sunday night, there's no way I'm going to that one. So we're selling those tickets, but that'll help us pay for the playoffs, considering we're going to have 2 home playoff games.
I like that confidence, dude. You just download that one right into the conversation.
That's it. You like how smooth that was?
I do.
And that actually walks us right into the next question. So, are you still teaching?
Yeah, I am. Yep. 20 years. 20 years. This is my 20th year. Started in 2003. Been in the same school district, for 20 years now. So I mean, it's what I do. It's, I certainly can't say that I'm not working towards a point where I'm able to walk away from it, earlier than initially anticipated, but, right now I'm full speed ahead. I don't have any immediate plans to stop just yet. Last year, my wife threw a little monkey wrench in it, in terms of the plans. She was a principal, administrator for about 6 years and got a principal job here in the town that we live in. We actually moved here, because of her job. And, so I have a little bit of a longer commute, but she was a little closer. And, she was one of these like COVID principals. So she got her job as a principal when COVID hit. So her first year as an elementary school principal was in September, and then school shut down in March. And that's it. It's all she's known as a principal. So she didn't get the chance to really be a principal. She didn't get the chance to be with the kids and do the fun things. And she spent 95% of her job on the phone, being yelled at by parents, being told it's all her fault, quarantining kids, talking to bus drivers about where kids sit and if they're 6 feet from each other or not. Just a whole lot of bullshit that she didn't sign up for. And it got to a point really where she was coming home and she was on the phone till 10, 11 o'clock at night. I would have to give baths and I'd put the kids to bed, and, she didn't get a chance to say goodnight to them half the time. So, a few times over, a few months period, she would look at me when she got home and she'd be like, man, or we'd get the boys to bed and Kristen would look at me and be like, I don't think I can do this much longer. And I'd be like, ha, 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 yeah, you're a principal. Like, you're making, $130K a year. Ha, you'll be fine. And then she said that like 2 or 3 times. And then there came that one moment, and you all know, like, when the wife says things a certain way, you just know it. And I'm telling you, she said it to me one time, and it was probably the 5th time she had said it to me, but it was different. She looked at me like, I don't think I can do this anymore. And it was that moment where we sat down and had a real conversation about it. And things kind of shifted from me being the one that was going to step away from teaching to her needing to be the one that was going to step away and be able to be a mom and wife and friend that she wanted to be. And tell you, man, I knock on one of my cutting boards right here now, because she's home now. She's doing as great as she could ever be. She's happy. We're happy. And we're still moving along a path where I think eventually, it's going to happen for me too. But I'm happy with where I'm at. I'm able to juggle everything, and she's a huge reason why I'm able to juggle it. People ask me how I do all this shit, how I teach, how I create content, how I do all this stuff. And it's like, there's your answer, right? Like,
Yeah.
she's the answer.
Yeah.
The vegetarian in my life is the reason I get to cook so much meat.
Yeah, that's
And if I can interject, that story was amazing, and kudos to you both. I've been in that when I had little kids, and my wife was like, I can't, this is it. I can't watch this go on. I got to be at home with the kids.
Yep.
Of course, much less stress than a global pandemic. But there is one thing that I heard you say, and I'm pretty sure you got it wrong, and I'd be interested to get her on here to hear this correctly. You said she said it 5 times, but it was the 5th time that she said it differently. I guess that actually happened a few times prior to that. And you just may not have known. That's my guess. I don't know, but if she was on here interviewing with us, I'm sure she would be like, no, I pretty much said that exactly the same way the first time.
Yeah. I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
she probably did, but I think so much of it, on a serious note, was probably her, as much her as it was me, her thinking, I just can't, like, I can say it, but
Right.
there's no way I can just quit like $130,000, job with benefits and all that stuff. Like,
And the whole thing.
so there was probably as much doubt in her mind as there was mine. But at the end of the day, we, just kept being faced with the same thing, man. And it's what you just said. Like, there's so much to be said for being able to just be with your family and be with your kids. And like, there is nothing more important than that. And that's just what it came down to. And, I don't know, even if I didn't do this stuff, if I didn't have, the side hustle type of stuff that we all do, that we're able to monetize and make money off of, I still think we would have done it. Again, we would have figured it out.
Yeah, it's the difference between need to do it and have to do it.
It's the difference
it sounded
between,
like you were at a point where she had to
exactly.
do it.
It's the difference between being happy and not being happy. Like, that's it.
Right.
It's that simple. If we hadn't have done it, who knows, how the boys would be doing in school. Who knows how our relationship would be, because we all know it struggles with things like that. And, we're all better from it. So, it's just, it's really worked out. And, she's a huge support system for me. As much as I, razz on her and make fun of her in my videos and stuff, she gets a kick out of it. And, we got some cool stuff coming, and, she's going to continue to be maybe a little bit more of a part of it all, as we continue down this road.
Well, and I have to interject here. The unsung heroes of what we do, like the social media content creator, like food monsters, you know what I mean? Is the wives, is our better halves, man. Like, mine is an absolute saint. And even when she's coming down on me for stuff I'm doing and whatever, I disappear to Florida for like weeks at a time doing content and there's no one else would ever put up with this kind of stuff. And all of her friends are like, how do you deal with that with little kids at home and stuff? She's like, well, like, have you seen him? His heart is 100% into it. You have to put it together however and it's 100%, man. Like, and as cliche as it sounds, happy wife, happy life, any chance I get, to pass the ball back to her, 100% I'm going to do it, because like she does it so much for me. It's awesome to hear you say that. Just the way you put that, man. It's, yeah.
I don't know if I say any one phrase as much as happy wife, happy life. Like, I say it all the time. And, I know there's times that she wants to just give me a freaking knuckle sandwich right across the face. But, I mean, when I have like a friggin' turkey sprawled out, turkey juice everywhere, or I pull a freaking beef heart out of the fridge, or she opens it and sees the turkey neck and all that stuff in the fridge because she knows I'm going to cook it and eat it. Like, she's a saint, man. They all are.
Yeah. If you had told me 10 years ago that some of the arguments I'd be having now with my wife was about she's holding the camera wrong or the lighting is all off, and haven't you thought about white balance? I would not have believed any of that. So, yeah, not that that happens. So what came first? Did barbecue come first, or did the TikTok stuff and the content creation come first? Did you have Groark Boys barbecue prior to social media?
Nah, the content and everything all came first. It's kind of built off of those opportunities and stuff like that. The Groark Boys as a brand started in 2018 when I started the barbecue business, catering, events, stuff like that. A lot of which was through my school. My high school, my school district was a huge part of being able to get me up and running with the business. You all know you make a connection, whether it's with a brewery, a winery, a distillery. They're a huge part of getting you out there and being seen and getting started. And my school district was that for me. So that was 2018, but I was posting on Instagram way back, years before that, and I think my page, my Instagram page was at Matt Groark. Like it was just my name,
Right.
and eventually it was like, I mean, it was all family stuff. It was pictures of my kids, what I'm doing, all that kind of stuff. Nothing too exciting. And then when I got introduced to barbecue and really smoking in particular. I've always enjoyed cooking, but a lot of my passion for it started probably say like 2000, 2011, 2010. I was doing a lot of tailgating. We got season tickets for the Eagles, me, my dad, and my two brothers, and I went all in on tailgates. Like my dad and my brother, we were phone calls all week figuring out what we were going to do and what time we were going to leave. And if I wasn't in the parking lot by 6 a.m. making bacon, egg, and cheese biscuits, then we were doing something wrong. And my dad and my brothers knew that they didn't have to worry at all about the food. They knew that they needed to show up, be ready by like 5:30 for me to pick them up. I'd have the cooler stocked with all the food, the grills, everything I needed. As long as they had the beer and whatever we were drinking, we were good. So that's really where it started. And even then, I wasn't doing videos and stuff like that. That's just where I could kind of start like any kind of origin story, was
Right.
like Eagles tailgates,
Right.
And then years down the road, my father-in-law, one day showed up at my house. We had dogs sat for them. And, when they came to pick up the dogs, he had a little master built 32-inch electric smoker and a little propane smoker. And he gave it to me. He said he ordered it for himself like a year ago and was never going to use it. So he was like, here. And the next day I went to like Walmart, Sam's Club. I bought a pork butt. I bought turkey legs. I bought chicken. I bought ribs. And the next morning I bought wood chips. I was soaking them in water. I was all excited. I was watching YouTube videos. I'd never done it before. And I was like, all right, I woke up at like 4 a.m., fired it up, threw everything on at the same time because I didn't know anything. As far as I was concerned, ribs and pork butt were going to take the same amount of time. So I just threw them out there. I got a coffee. I was sitting in my backyard and just watching the smoke. I don't remember to this day how the food was because it was so much more than the food. Right? And that's what sold me. It was about so much more than the food. I could care. That food could have been burnt. It didn't matter. The fact that I was just sitting out there trying to figure out the fire, trying to figure out the temperature, playing with it, just sitting, enjoying some coffee. Like it's like Mel in his hot tub with his stogie. Like that's why we do it, even above and beyond the food, So that was it, man. Then I started posting on my page. I started just taking pictures and video wasn't around yet. So I started posting on my page and, I was like, all right, I got to change my name or I got to open a different page. So I started another page called Matt Groark BBQ. And I think I posted maybe 1 or 2 pictures on there. And then I got a DM from Kurt Halls from Caribbean.
Oh yeah, Caribbean.
All right. So Kurt DM'd me, my first conversation with anybody in the barbecue world. And back then, even now, I consider Kurt like one of the OGs of what we're all
Definitely.
doing, Kurt did 10 years ago. You know,
Yeah.
like Kurt was like the guy, the first one to do video, the first one to like, he was like the OG. He was the first one to send everybody rubs and get like a affiliate team type of deal. Like Kurt did all that
Right.
stuff. And he DM'd me and was like, yo, he said, I love what you're doing. I love your stuff. Obviously, he hooked me up. I got some of his seasonings, which to this day are still, you know, some of the best. His BBQ honey heat to this day is like one of my favorite rubs. But he said one thing that stuck with me and really started it all. He said, yo, you got to get rid of that page. Like, don't start a new page. If you want to rename it somehow and make it like your brand, do that. But you have a lot more to offer than just the food you're posting pictures of. Like, people are going to want to know you. They're going to want to know your family, your kids, your wife. Like, they're going to want to know you. And you're not going to be able to
Right.
do that with just this page with all food on it, you know? And that just spoke to me, man. And I'd still talk to him all the time and thank him for it, you know, pretty regularly. He knows it. And that's what really started it. So my page became more about my family and the story and why I do this. And I try to intermix some of those things still now, because that's what people want, man. People want to make a connection. And I think a lot of my success growing in the beginning was because of that.
Well, and I have to say, you're like the Gary V of the barbecue world. You know what I mean? Like, everyone's always watching. The YouTube's exploding, right? The TikTok, just monster moves, man. From the beginning, it's been huge. You've done quite a few accomplishments, and everyone's just unbelievably taken back by it. It's crazy.
I really took that. It's funny you say Gary V because that's where I listen to Gary V all the time. And,
Yeah,
you know, that initially was when you're talking about creating, you know, relationships and things like that. That's what it's about. Like, you just reach out to people and you know, you're just persistent with it. And I'm a persistent motherfucker. Like, if I want something and, you know, I have a goal in mind, I'm more times than not going to stop until I get there. And,
yeah,
you know, that's kind of what's pushed it through. But it's everything Gary says is so easy. Like, it's just, you got to DM. If you want one yes, it might take 1,000 DMs to get that yes, you know?
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I didn't start growing on YouTube until I started posting 60 videos a week. Like, it's brutal. I
yeah,
was pulling videos that I edited 2 years ago and posting them on YouTube shorts
yeah,
and posting 3-4 a day. And it's just being persistent and consistent. Like, more is better. You know, I know they
yeah.
talk about quality content, you know, quality over quantity, but I think a lot of these social platforms, you have to kind of change with them. And there was a time where that was the case, quality over quantity. But right now, I'm telling you, if I could give anybody the best advice that I could possibly have right now for the state that a lot of these platforms are in right now, it's more.
Yep.
Like, it's
Yep.
more. Like, if you could post 15 times a day, then post 15 times a day, you know? And obviously, we know the quality can't be shit, but more is better. You
Yep.
have 15 posts, that gives you 15 opportunities to go viral as opposed to just one.
Yep.
And we all know you could spend hours and hours on editing and creating the perfect video and it flops and it does nothing, you know? And then that shit video that took you 5 seconds gets 2 million views.
Yeah, that's
And then you pound out the 5-second short videos and they do terrible. It's like whenever you try is when it does the actual
That is the only
opposite.
certainty in what we do as creators.
Right. You try and it flops like the biggest flop ever.
That is it.
You don't try, next thing, and then you try to recreate it. You're like, I just did this and it worked like gold. And what the fuck? You know, yeah, it's terrible.
That is
well, you
it.
mentioned Gary V. Who's your mentor? I mean, who do you look up to either in content creation, the barbecue world, or somebody outside of that world that pull? And if you say Jalen Hurts. And then I'm not going to continue this conversation because then it's getting all about sports, and we'll get to that. But you can't lead with that. That's just not going to be fun. So who's the guy you look up to?
Look, man, there's so many. It's wild. Props to Jalen and everything he's doing right now, but I'm not going to call out a football player.
He
for
is
this,
a hand.
for this.
Speaking of your hair, Jalen's a handsome dude. I got to say it. I'm going to say it right now on my own podcast. Jalen is a handsome guy. I wish he was my quarterback. Anyway, I interrupted you. Sorry.
But no, I think there's so many, man. I've been doing this for a little while, longer than most have on TikTok at least. And a lot of mine are just, there's so many incredible new creators that I watch and that I am just floored by in terms of the talent and quality of their content. I love watching it. I don't necessarily I don't want to say I don't look up to, but I've gotten to be good friends, not good friends, but I talk to a lot of really pretty big creators. I mean, Nick DiGiovanni, who pretty much the mecca of food social media right now as a brand. I chat with Nick here and there, and it's hard to say you look up to someone when you're just not capable of doing what they're doing. I don't have a team. I don't have the quality cameras and all that kind of stuff. I love his brand. I love the work he's done for it. He's creating, exponential wealth in terms of, different companies he works with or brands that he owns. So I really look up to that part from a business standpoint, guys like him. And then just all the OGs, man, like Kurt being one of them. I mean, God, you guys I've known for 5+ years, in this space. And just to be able to have, these kind of relationships, like literally anybody that creates food content, so many come across my page and I look up to every friggin' one of them because, whether it's a food creator that pops on my page that has 500 followers or whether it's somebody that has 7.8 million followers, I look up to and am inspired by everyone because I know the fucking work that they put into it and the time that it takes and the sacrifice it takes and the skill that it takes to edit, to cook, to juggle everything. So, I mean, I might be a bigger creator on some platforms, but there's so many good content creators out there in the food space that we're in. Not just barbecue, but all over the place. But Noah Sims, who is a perfect example of someone who is incredibly inspiring and motivational and just frigging gives everything he possibly has to other people. And, I think I'm inspired a lot by that because that's my goal was to, I'll never turn anyone away if they DM me or if they call me or if they text me for advice or ask me a question. Like, I think there's a lot of people in our space that are very protective of what they do and don't want to share their successes or the things that got them there. Like, I couldn't be more opposite than that. No one's ever going to be Mel. You know what I mean? Like, no one's ever going to be Mel. Mel can give everybody every single step that he does to get where he is. And they can all do it and they can explode and blow up and be great, but they're not going to be Mel. And that's the way I kind of take it. Like, I will help and walk and hold anybody's hand through this process that wants to do it and have no fear or insecurity at all because I know they're not going to be me, but they're going to be able to grow into what they want to be. And I think there's so much room and there's so much content to be made and there's so much money to be made in this space that there's enough for everybody, man. Share the wealth, pat each other on the back and support each other. And I wouldn't be here if I didn't have people do that for me. Y'all included. Like,
that's awesome, man. That's I have to give a quick shout out to our boy Noah, man. Yesterday he was in a bunker.
Incredible.
Or the day before, he was in a bunker in the Ukraine right before he got to Warsaw to fly out of there. Like, and what was it, a week before he was in Africa or something? Like he just, and that's the thing. He's like, this Instagram, the social media thing is a big deal to me, but right now I got to work on like the world. And then he just disappeared. And like, you see him on the front lines. It's absolutely just amazing. That guy, he takes my breath away every time I check in on him, man.
He just got bombed. Like the bomb dropped, and he's like poking out of a bunker, filming, like sending it to our group.
Yeah.
I thought for sure you were referencing this video that he took 3 days to edit and posted, and it just totally bombed. I mean, I thought for sure you were bringing it back home to that part of the story. I didn't realize you were saying he actually got bombed.
Literally, he's there in a bandana and like a little funny hat, and he's sitting in a bunker updating his Instagram stories in the Ukraine. He's cooking meals for hundreds of people.
Does he cook it over like the smoldering embers of a bomb that just went off?
Literally.
I'll send you the video. I'll have him send it to me, and I'll send it to you.
It's insane. Okay. Chris, it's insane.
It's out of control.
This is
do we know what is it? Just that's his makeup? Is there some driving force in his past that makes him like? Is he a military child or a?
I think he's a saint.
He's like the Mother Teresa of.
Actually, I think he is. Like it's crazy. He's
Look, I think all of us can pinpoint an experience that was painful and hurt and hard to overcome and all that in order to get us to where we are now, right? Like I know that starting my business and trying to focus on giving back as much as possible and working with charities and supporting veterans and all that. Like, I know that all stems from a pretty dark spot in my life. And I don't think it's any different for Noah. No. I think Noah, and I'm blessed to call him a brother. Like, so I know a lot of the things that he's dealt with. And, but Noah would not be doing what he's doing now if he hadn't dealt with all this shit. If he hadn't been, I'm telling you, Noah decided to go to the Ukraine and cook with World Central Kitchen. He didn't have a dime to his name.
No, I know.
He didn't have a dime. This is a guy that was on MasterChef season 10 with Gordon Ramsay, was Final Four, probably very easily could have won. And while he could have taken that experience and done what some others have done with it, case in point, Nick DiGiovanni. And God bless Nick, because he gives back a shit ton too, just in a different way. He uses Nick just gave out, 7,000 free turkeys for freaking Thanksgiving with Mr. Beast, out of control. Yep. So they've both done amazing things. Noah's done it on the front line in the Ukraine, cooking with World Central Kitchen. And he just decided, he was there for 3 months, I think. And Chef Jose Andres hired him as the executive chef in the Ukraine for World Central Kitchen. Like, that's the power that you're talking about when you talk about Noah. And goddamn. Mel would tell you, I would dedicate a whole hour show just talking about
I could too.
Being able to talk about Noah. So we could go on and on about that, but
I think he's a saint though. I do. I think he's an actual saint. Yeah.
Crazy. In that case, I'm gonna try and fight this sickness with a beverage.
Yeah. With a Jaeger.
So cheers to you guys for having me on.
Cheers, brother.
Thank you very much for being on, man. This is deadly. I'm so happy.
What'd y'all do? What'd y'all cook for Thanksgiving? I saw you had Mel. You had a leg of something hanging from your pit the other day.
Yes, I had a rear quarter of muley hanging from the fire pit there, and we made tacos and stuff out of it. And that was one of those weird content creation cooks where I was halfway through, and then a bunch of people showed up, and then you got nothing. I was actually shooting YouTube. And then all of a sudden, all these people show up and we're ripping into it. I'm just so happy to. And then we go back to the wife's a saint, right? She comes home from work and there's 15 people in the yard. Everyone's drinking. And she's like, oh, we're doing this, are we? Like, oh, yeah, here it was. So, yeah, it's one of those. But Al messages me. He's like, so what happened with that leg? I'm like, well, funny story.
It got eaten.
You got eaten. That's it. Yeah. So
cooked and eaten.
It's the best. And that's it. At the end of the day is to be able to have a group of people with you eating what you cooked and just having a friggin' bang up time. You know, that's all any of us want to do, and that's why we typically all do what we do. Is in order to do that, have those moments where you can just put the camera down and party.
Well, it's so rare now that you can do that. That when it does happen, you're all in. You got to do it.
Yep. There'll be another leg for you to cook and get some content.
100%. There's another one in the freezer, man. The season's not over yet, so.
Typically, they come in 4s. So you got 3 other cracks at this, Mel. I'm sure it'll happen.
See how.
No, man, what a ride, man. This has just been, everything about it is crazy. My wife looks at me sometimes, like I'll update her on stuff, and she'll just look at me like she has to pinch herself, you know, and the fact that we're able to, you know, do things and, you know, live a certain lifestyle because of social media. And it's wild, man. As a teacher that teaches high school kids, if there's anything that I'm able to use in school to kind of help get through to some of these kids, because all these kids in school here is how negative and terrible social media is, you know. It's the devil, you know. It's bullying, and it's sex, and it's extortion, and it's all this stuff. And you know, if I could do anything as far as being a teacher who's in this position, is to show them that you can take anything that you have a passion for and that you enjoy doing and turn it into a career. Like, you can really do that. It's fucking crazy. You know?
But do you ever stop and think, though, not to interrupt, but I just saw a 60-minute story on TikTok, and they talked about how in China it's called something different, and in China they highlight math, science, humanities, like what they popularize and drive into the kids that are watching their equivalent of TikTok there are all the things to make a country aspire to, right? Astronauts, you know, and if you do, which they have, surveyed the children in China, their number one thing, like it used to be in the United States, is I want to grow up and be an astronaut, right? And the United States, it's, you know, no offense to us, but it's Albert can cook throwing like 50 pieces of cheese at one time with all the noise. And, you know, Mel in his bathrobe riding down the street drinking a White Claw, you know, and you get all of that stuff. So at any point in time, do you ever sit back and think, should we be telling people they could do anything they want to do on social media and making a living? I mean, who's going to fix our cars? Who's going to come in and unclog our toilets? Who is going to build our houses? If we're all influencers and we're all making a living and doing what we're passionate about, who's left to do the actual work?
Well, here's the thing with that, I think, where the separation is, right? It's easy to say, you know, I mean, a doctor, a heart surgeon can say, you know, hey, it's easy. Just go to school, get your loans, do 12 years of residency, and now you're a heart surgeon. Like, I did it. Everybody who has a passion for it could do it. Go do it. Like, not everybody can do it. And I don't think it's any different with this. Like, I know plenty of people that enjoy cooking and enjoy barbecue and enjoy smoking meat or enjoy whatever it is, but they don't have the ability to put it on camera, to be able to make it relatable, to be able to make it something that people truly believe you have a passion and a desire and a love to do. I mean, so there's a lot of people that may say, oh, I love to dance, but are they able to create content in a way that inspires people? I don't know about that. So that's where I think a lot of people could say it seems easy to do, but
It's the
it's a
second
weird
time your wife has gotten a snack out of that snack jar behind you.
where is she?
It's this. That's the second time. The first one I tried to call
this
her out.
one
And
right here?
yeah, is that dog treats? Are those dog treats? Is she training the dog? Yeah, they're dog treats. So your dog is trying to like cause trouble, and she's trying to keep the dog out of the camera shot. Is what I'm seeing here.
She just picked our pup from the hospital. He got hit by a car yesterday.
Oh man,
Yeah.
is he okay?
Yeah, he's all right. It was my fault.
What a shitty Thanksgiving. Are you okay?
Yeah, I was freaking blowing.
Damn, all of a sudden we were talking about Thanksgiving and you were in the hospital with a dog that got hit by a car.
That's one of those foot and mouth moves like I've never seen in my life. That's perfect. Would your dog die? Oh, Jesus. I'm terribly sorry, but like that.
Hey, man. I thought your wife was getting handfuls of popcorn. I was like, feed the lady. You're talking about feeding all of us. Feed your wife. She's getting snacks on camera. What's up? Now it's a dog that had a near-death experience. Leave it to me to stick my foot in my mouth. Thank you.
Yeah.
That was perfect. That was awesome.
I left the gate.
I'm sorry about the dog.
Both my dogs went sprinting out. I got the one, and I started walking him in, thinking the other would follow. And then all of a sudden, I heard, and I'm like, oh shit! Looked over my shoulder, and he was sprinting down the road, sprint back towards my house. And I got back to the house, and his nose was scratched up, his mouth was bleeding. I think he was so hopped up on adrenaline. He got back. I don't think he got hit really like full speed.
Right.
I think brakes and he got popped a little bit. He's like 70 pounds. But he was limping a bit. So we took him to the ER yesterday and they saw some shade in his lungs, like bruising and stuff. So we kept him overnight there. And just picked him up. He's doing all right. It's good prognosis. He's a tough guy, but now I'm going to have to film some more videos to pay for it.
Yeah.
No joke. We have 2 French bulldogs, and they sneeze the wrong way, and it's a $500 bill.
Oh, my God. It's out of control.
It's so bad. We've gotten one of our dogs fucking goggles he has to wear because he'll chase, like, squirrels. I don't know. I've got a dog that wears goggles because he chases goddamn squirrels and runs into trees and bushes and cuts his eyeball. Not his eyelid, not his cheek, not his nose, his fucking eyeball, man. And now he has goggles because I told my wife I'm not spending another $1,500 on that fucker's eyeball.
Your dog's out there scratching his cornea.
Yeah, it's crazy. Now he's got goggles. I'm like, God.
See,
So everybody's asking or thinking this, and I'm just going to ask: did you all eat Thanksgiving dinner before you took the dog, or did you just kind of chill the dog in the crate, finish dinner, and then take him to the hospital?
No, so
I have to ask. I mean, it would be a really hard decision to make at the time.
it happened early enough that I was able to go to the hospital. I was there for a few hours, but people didn't come over until like 4 or 5 o'clock. So the decision to keep him overnight at the hospital was in part made because we were going to have like 20 people here.
Right.
Like just keep him in the hospital.
Man,
extra $700.
yeah. If a foodie's putting on Thanksgiving dinner, you know that the people aren't leaving. They're going to be around for a bit.
No, it was good.
Yeah, that's...
But
While he's making that decision, he's texting all of his sponsors, hey, I could do a sponsored post for $700 today for you if you want me to.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, hold on,
Emergency offer.
doctor. Wait, it's $747 right now.
Actually, I'm going to do a Black Friday special right now.
Exactly. I was just going to say that Black Friday Eve special. That's,
Yes.
yeah.
I'm going to go hit up.
Lord.
I'm going to go hit up the coldest water bottle and tell them I'll do a video for them.
All right, you got to tell me the truth, and this is the God's honest truth because that's what we do on the show. When you fed Phil, how was he? How is he in real life?
Listen,
Does somebody feed Phil a good guy, or is he not a good guy in real life?
He is I don't know that I've ever met someone that is the exact same person you see on TV in real life. And my wife will tell you too, because we both,
Yeah.
Kristen we watch Somebody Feed Phil all the time. We've binged
Great
every
show.
season, and
Yeah.
to have him and his wife, and he brought his wife, he brought his daughter. Richard was there, his brother, who he's on film all the time on the show.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I've ever met someone that is as much the person as he is on TV. Like he did.
That's cool.
He ate my sandwich, and he did his little, his little Phil
Little
dance
thing.
that he does when he likes something.
Yeah.
Gave me a big hug when I first met him. He's incredible, man. He's just such a cool cat. I DM'd him a couple weeks ago and told him I was disappointed because he didn't call me to meet him in Philly when he went to Mark Vettri's restaurant. He did Philly on the latest season of Somebody Feed Phil. So I told him I was a little upset that he didn't call me for dinner.
Did he respond, or did he have his ad agency, his PR people? Yeah.
He responded by just double clicking my comment and liking it.
My favorite kind of response. Bing, bing.
So I have to ask a very barbecue direct question now. The trailer that you got, you fitted up with a custom. It was a 500-gallon offset.
Yes.
Do you regret that at any point in your catering career?
So it is more work. It is more work.
Everybody wants to be a pit master.
Well,
till
no,
they
this
get
is
an offset.
I run a 750.
I know, yeah.
You know what I mean? We're in the same the same park. I'm just curious. In a trailer system,
it is a lot more work to get that thing running and running even. You're talking a solid hour and a half just burning logs before you can even put food on there. Right. So, and that's part of it. As opposed to, an old hickory that I could have right in the back, that's a box and fits perfectly. And I could hook up to electric and have it burning wood and, all that kind of stuff. But do I regret it? I don't.
No.
I don't. I don't know, like the reverse flow over a traditional offset. Maybe I would have gone traditional offset over the reverse flow, but there's you're kind of, I'm being nitpicky.
That's 1 hour of warming up.
Right.
Once you have that 1 hour, then a reverse flow's better.
Right.
That's the thing. If I could have done a reverse flow in Elvira, I would have, just for that ease of you know what I mean? The 20 degree,
once it gets there.
Why? Because the baffle gets warm and holds the temp? Is that what? I mean, I had the reverse flow over an offset, but I don't have it to compare to an offset. So why do you say that, Mel? Is it because that baffle gets warmed up and it holds the heat better?
With a reverse flow, you're heating the entire unit up.
Right.
Once the unit hits a temperature, now you're ready to cook. Whereas an offset, you can throw logs in there and 10 minutes later, you're already at that temperature outside of the firebox. You're just waiting for the rest of the steel to heat up.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could throw food right by the firebox there in an offset and be cooking in 20 minutes. Yeah, but it's very hard to say you regret something when one, it just looks fucking badass. I'm telling you.
That's all you need to say. That's our promo right there. It just looks fucking badass. That's our teaser trail for this episode.
Like when I was talking to Frank from Smoker Builder, who, shout out to Frank from Smoker Builder, who built my reverse flow. That was our conversation, was dude, I want people to come up to my rig and see something that they just haven't seen before. And that's a friggin' 500-gallon reverse flow on a trailer. On a full 30-foot rid with a 14-foot porch. It's a 14-foot porch. They don't exist. 14-foot porches don't exist.
Yeah.
You have 8-foot, 10-foot.
No, it's a beast, man. Yeah.
Do you bring that rig to the tailgating? Or do you just go old school, popping out of your van or truck when you tailgate?
Usually, I
the
just go old
Eagles
school
games?
because I'd be paying probably $400 to park that thing
Oh,
in the
because
parking lot.
they'll let you do it, but you would have to get the reserve
They would
space
charge
for,
me for
yeah.
each. They would
Look
charge
at
me
your
for each
cat.
spot.
Your cat's behind you now, Matt. Your cat's now getting into that same thing. And your cat looked directly into camera and said, "Please, Buddha, don't let me get hit by a car."
Here's a trivia question for anyone that follows me. If you're a true follower, how many cats do I have?
I didn't know you had any. So there
9.
9 cats?
8. Close.
Jesus.
Close.
That's
8. 8 cats.
that's hilarious.
Well, I've come to know one of your cats has multiple personalities. That's why I said 9. So I get credit.
There's a couple of our cats might have multiple personality disorders.
Don't we all?
So another thing I need to know about, because it's become sort of a thing. I know
Yes,
that
I condition
Aaron
my
Frank.
hair. I do condition.
Do you wash it every day?
I do wash it every day. I condition every other.
Okay.
I tried to get him to do the mullet. I tried to. When he started, when it started, I'm like, come on, buddy, don't check it out. Do the whole thing. It was, oh, buddy.
Well, Jordan motivated me. He had a big plush beard, and then he shaved it down
I
with
know,
the
look
hipster mustache. And then I shaved my beard and did the hipster mustache. And I cannot stand the look of my naked face in the mirror every day. So I'm quickly
grow.
growing back I can't. Yeah, it's not good. So I need
You'll
to
get
know
used
this.
to it.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying you do it. Just for me, I've been on the earth a long time, and my face has been covered for much of that time. Uncovering it at this stage of the game sounded like a good idea. It really was not. It
How
was
long
not
would
a
it
good
take
idea.
you to grow it back?
So I don't grow. I mean, probably by next week it'll be like back to looking like I have facial hair, and then a week after that it'll be back to my normal self. So 3 weeks, but
That
pretty
sounds
good. Yeah, but it's patchy. The early phases, you know what it's like. You got to grow it long to cover up the patchy area. I may have a couple of beard feeds in my TikTok. I'm not too ashamed to do that. So I need to know, because this has become somewhat of a rage in the food scene, especially hard to get foods, where you'll find companies like Aaron Franklin will ship you a whole brisket through, I forget what the service he uses.
Yeah.
How did your QVC, what is that all about? Talk to us about your QVC experience.
So QVC came up through actually a friendship with God, let me start from the scratch. My wife was a vice principal, director of education at a middle school, elementary school, and it was in a town called Berlin, which isn't that far from here.
You in Jersey or
Yeah,
are you in
Jersey,
Philly?
South
area?
Jersey.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
The police officer from the Berlin Police Department, there was an officer that officers tend to be assigned to schools. If something goes down at a school, it'll typically be the same officer that reports to that, so that there's like a familiarity in that sense. So she was dealing with this guy named TJ, who was a police officer in Berlin. So he quit his job as a police officer because he married a Ristelli's daughter. And Ristelli's is a huge meat company, butcher here in South Jersey. They are national, and they are QVC's largest food client. Ristelli's is just enormous. They're a $500+ million company. They're huge. Even I didn't know that prior.
Wow.
There's like Ristelli's Market is like a ShopRite, Walmart type little, grocery store here.
Right. They've
locally.
got their fingers in a bunch of different.
So TJ quit his job on the police force to work full time with the Ristelli's family, his wife's family. And he called Kristen one day and said, "Hey, I see what your husband's doing on social media and stuff. I want to talk to him about possibly doing some stuff with Ristelli's." So she was like, "Here, call him." So he called me. We had a conversation, And it really started with just doing a few videos talking about promoting the Rastelli's brand, which is a local butcher here. So I was more than happy to do it and be partnered with them. So that's kind of how it started. And then those conversations, TJ and I, which, I kind of touched on a little earlier, TJ and I got to the point where we initially became friends even before we started talking business. So we
Right.
formed a relationship to the point where he really just wanted to see me continue to succeed in things. And he's like, man, I think we could keep rolling with this. And he kept going back to his, father-in-law and pitching ideas. Next thing I knew, I was in the office in a meeting with him, his father-in-law, who owns the entire business, whole entire company, talking about the potential of them licensing my brand. So that's how it started. And I sat in that office. We had a meeting. They were super excited about it. They knew everything I was doing. They did their research on me. They know my family, and they know I'm local, and we have a lot of mutual connections. And that's what we did. I licensed my brand with Rastelli's, and that turned into a partnership with QVC doing direct to consumer. We did Groark Boys ribs, pulled pork, and brisket. We have goals down the road to do, chicken, maybe do some different smoked bacon, eventually jumping into some seasonings, partnered with them and stuff like that. So we're just on the kind of beginning stages of all that. I think I did QVC about 5 times. Sales were good. QVC again isn't anything that I'm going to retire on, but is great publicity for the brand. The goal with Rastelli's is to get into retail, and get to the point where Groark Boys barbecue ribs, prepackaged, pre-cooked, ready to eat ribs, ready to eat pulled pork, ready to eat brisket, burn ends, or whatever it is I do with them, is to get them in ShopRite, Walmart, Kroger. And if that happens, then we're talking about the potential of being able to, retire from teaching.
And old hickory pits.
Yeah, and some old hickory pits. Yeah, maybe a second rig.
That's because that's what I was wondering when Buddha first told me about this original deal. I was like, is he doing all of this on a 500? Like, how is that going to work? Because that's a massive deal.
Yeah,
I know.
Like, you
This is
smoke,
like-
cool, vacuum seal, ship, or do you just drive your truck to whoever buys it from QVC? I mean, are you like out all night long dropping off fresh barbecue?
Yeah, so this is like a Shark Tank.
That was a joke.
This is like Shark Tank,
Yep.
right? It's
Yep.
like a Shark Tank deal.
Yep.
So Rastelli's, and Rastelli's has actually been on Shark Tank before. There's a guy named, there's a company called BBQ's Ribs. He's the first boneless rib. He's a former NFL football player. He was on Shark Tank, and Damon did a deal with him. And Damon isn't really in the food scene. He's more fashion and clothing, right? But
Yep.
Damon reached out to Rastelli's about how to mass produce the product. And Rastelli's owns barbecue ribs from Shark Tank. So what we did is kind of took that Shark Tank episode, and we're kind of doing the same thing with my brand as they did with barbecue.
If you get a chance to get into sausages, like custom smoked sausages, trust me, they warm up real nice. You know what I mean? Like, for marketing, they're the easy to quickest, And oh, buddy, they're so slick because like no one's gonna complain about sausages,
No,
right?
no. How
All of a sudden, your prepackaged sausages show up at tailgater parties. Like it's too easy. It's
Yep.
too easy.
Yep.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I have a
I like
thing
that.
for sausages, man.
I'm gonna get on the phone with somebody when I get off of this.
That's it. That's what I'm doing with my hot sauce now. I'm plugging it into sausages.
Yeah.
So it's my hot sauce in sausages, then custom smoke it, and it's done. Like it's
Can't beat that.
yeah, it's a monster. So yeah, I'm super pumped. But that's wicked, man. That's wild. Like the people you meet, right? And you
But
never
that's it.
know
That's
what
what it is.
kind of door is going to open. It's like
Connections, relationships, like you know, the QVC went great. The episodes were great. I have a connection with them. I was, you know, in the fall, early fall, beginning of the school year, September, October, I was away for a little bit, so I kind of wasn't doing much with that stuff, but I'm back and I'm on the way to kind of reconnecting the whole QVC thing and getting back on that. Yeah, so there's just going to be, you guys know how it is. Like you sit and you think that things are drying up, or you think that you're not getting the kind of, you know, publicity or views or opportunities as you might get certain points of the year. And then what I found is the second that starts seeping into your mind, you're like, man, is this like, when's my next opportunity going to come? And you start getting down about it. That's right when it comes. Like it happens every time. It's crazy. So I got an exciting few months ahead, and I wish this podcast was about a month from now, because I'd be able to maybe talk about a few other things. But it's going to be fun.
Well, we could not release it for a month from now if you want to tell us some stuff.
Yeah,
I won't tell anybody. Is it a hair product though? I'm guessing it's a hair product. It's a Groark Boy's hair products. Yes.
Head and Shoulders finally reached out to me.
Yes.
It's why I can wear a black shirt.
Yeah. Well, Troy Polamalu needs a new gig now.
Buddy, you wouldn't believe how many people ask me that with the mullet all the time and the black shirt all the time. I'm like, it's maple syrup, man. That's it. There's a little bit of maple syrup. We got no problems here at all. It's magic.
Yeah, it's like magic. It's like oil and conditioner all at once.
And a little bit of seal blubber, you know. It's just perfect.
And we will guarantee no dogs running out of the backyard if his hair's full of that stuff.
Yeah,
They're
right.
just going to be licking his head.
You got any big stuff still planned with Rub City? How's that going?
I mean, we just dropped a big Black Friday sale. That we just started. So I think you know how it is. You've been through this with your hot sauces and getting to a price point that is competitive and stuff like that. We've been able over the course of the last year to, you know, gradually bring that down. And I think with the Black Friday sale we're doing, I think we got down under $10 a bottle. So I think with that, we're down at like $9.99 a bottle, which is a huge number. And I think we're going to be at the point where this Black Friday sale is just going to kind of last forever, and we're going to keep it at that price point. So, I mean, that's a huge, huge deal for us, to be able to compete with, you know, some of the other stuff that's out there. I think our product is really, really good. And, you know, it speaks for itself. So been doing with that. We have a couple other things in the works. I think we want to do a breakfast rub, which I don't think there is one out there.
Oh, one out there, exactly. So I met Carlos, right, when we were doing that Texas live fire thing, and right away he was like, dude, and I'm like, oh, I can't wait to talk to Matt about this. It's fantastic. So very cool, man.
Yeah, so that's going to be fun. And here I will tell you, if you, Chris, you mentioned, you know, the Giants Cowboys game yesterday. So if you watched that game in its entirety and you maybe came across a promo commercial for a TV show with a certain very well-known chef.
I did see that.
That's going to be premiering after the Super Bowl.
Okay.
That is a pretty significant hit as to what I was doing or where I was in September and October.
Oh, fantastic. That's really cool.
Yeah,
Congratulations. And well
That's
deserved. That's really awesome.
pretty
that's
cool.
awesome, brother. That's yeah.
And if anybody paid attention to season 1 of that show, you would know that a barbecue guy got kicked off first
Yeah.
on that show. So I had a little bit of work to do in terms of regaining the respect of the world in terms of how embarrassing that person was for the barbecue community.
Honestly,
I say it all in fun. It's my boy Gary,
buddy.
the barbecue chef. But
Ah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
Well,
buddy.
so are you able to say, did you get past the first
Yes.
episode? Are you allowed to say that? Okay. All right. Because this would be
good.
anticlimactic if you gave this whole buildup and you got shooed out the front door on episode 1. I'd be like, dude, what was he talking about? It's like,
That's it. That's
oh,
awesome.
that's
brother.
great.
That's
Congratulations,
yeah,
dude.
so that was pretty cool.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Hopefully that catapults some more opportunities and more things down the road. So, that's what we'll keep doing. I'll be in a few weeks, I'll be at Lincoln Financial Field in December doing a tailgate for the Army Navy game with Team Foster, who is a veteran foundation here in Philly that raises money for service dogs for vets in need. So I've worked with them for a few years now, and their Army Navy tailgate is always a big fun event. So I'll be bringing my rig to Philly for that and cooking for their tailgate for Team Foster for Army
that's
Navy.
awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome, man.
so that'll be fun.
I love seeing
Is that have
stuff.
you done everything you've wanted to do in the tailgate world, or is there like a bucket list tailgating thing you want to do?
Oh man, I will tell you, between 2003 and 2011, we had season tickets and for the Eagles, and my dad and my 2 brothers, we did road trips. We did road trips every year. We did at least one game every year. And
Right.
I would love to
That's
revisit
awesome.
that.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
as a season ticket holder, I would love to revisit that, but do it with kind of a barbecue forward, tailgate forward kind of mission.
I'm dropping into this town. Everybody come see Groark. And,
I think that would be really, really cool. Especially once this season comes and goes. And I like to think I showed myself pretty well on the show. And once that all happens, I think it might open up some opportunities to be able to do something like that. So I think that would be really cool to combine football, cooking, tailgating in a way that you can connect with more people from different teams around the country. And I would love to do something like that, even if it is with, some bonehead Dallas fans.
Yeah, I'm with you on the bonehead Dallas fans. Sorry, Dallas people, but you either know and are conveniently not saying, or you don't know and you're going to be aghast. But I grew up in the Washington D.C. area, and I know, and I saw you the next day blaming that first loss of the season all on the referees, and though they did make some really bad calls. I was saving this. I wasn't going to slide into your DMs to challenge you. I was waiting for this episode to just bring that up, just to make sure that
After I
you
have
knew.
a little bit
Yeah.
of time to think about it, I can pull up some receipts, because I did post either on my stories or on Twitter that regardless of how bad the officiating was that game, the Eagles played like Dookie, and they deserved to lose the game simply based on the way they played.
Well, it was it's interesting, and it also highlights. We're going to lose these two gentlemen because they're from Canada, and Canadian football. I don't know that
CFL
that really
counts too.
but I just
CFL
now that I've got an
counts
NFL fan. Do you notice after the last CBA, to me, especially growing up a diehard football fan, football doesn't seem to resemble the football that you and I grew up watching, Matt, until about this part of the season, because they now can't go full speed in practice anymore. They can't wear pads. They can't hit. They don't play preseason. They don't do the starters. And so basically the first half of the season is them finding their groove and finding their rhythm with each other, hitting, taking the hits and all that stuff. So to me, as a football fan, it's interesting. It's kind of it now is when the season starts to get very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we no longer live in the era of, as an Eagles fan, Wes Hopkins, Reggie White, Jerome Brown, even Brian Dawkins, back in the early 2000s and stuff like that. You're just not allowed to play the game the way that those guys played it.
No.
And it sucks for football fans. And, I'd probably be remiss to say that the football players don't like it either. That every little thing you do is getting called roughing the passer.
It's tough. We were having this discussion last night. If they came out with viable robots that could play the game, that looked and behaved like humans, and you could go back to them killing each other where you just carted robots off the field, would you still enjoy watching the game?
Sounds
I
like
don't
a
know.
movie.
I think I would.
Yeah,
it does.
One thing I love about your guys' tailgating parties. So, Sniffin' Griffin's Barbecue, if you're familiar with them at all, that's Warren G. And he does tailgating parties. Warren G has a barbecue. I want to say California, because he uses G-Stack Smokers pits.
Yeah, he was West Coast.
Yeah, so and he'll be out there tailgating, and people are like, it's just totally normal to have him out there cooking sausages and ribs and stuff like that on a G-Stacks pit, and then all of a sudden you see him the next day and he's on stage with Snoop Dogg doing some huge big thing. And it's like he was tailgating the night before, and people were just hanging around with him.
That's crazy. So crazy. That's awesome.
And that stuff like that. It just every time I see it, it's it's wild, man. Because you talk about bringing people together with barbecue. That's one thing I've never been to is an American tailgate party.
You got something. You got to come.
Oh, dude, I so badly want to do it because that's one of the things. Whatever. You throw whatever shirt on me and I'm going to get rowdy, and I don't know the first thing about it, but I'm down. I'm all in. That's my...
I got some Eagles jerseys for you.
That's it, man. I love it. I absolutely... And yeah, man, the tailgates, they don't have them like that up here.
But that's
they have
cool
minor
about
tailgate parts, but...
Tailgating especially, how many former NFL players get into grilling, tailgating, start their own brands or businesses? UFC right now. Huge. Yeah. Into barbecue. There are so many UFC guys that are into cooking, hunting, barbecue. I have probably half a dozen UFC guys that follow me and DM me and stuff for, ask questions and things like that. WWE wrestlers are into it. It's just cool, man. I think, it's just going to do nothing but continue to ride that wave.
A good friend of mine, Justin Renfro, he played with the Seattle Seahawks. He did some big stunt with them before he came up here, and then he won a Grey Cup with Calgary, which we don't talk about because we don't like Calgary. But then he's with the Elks, the Edmonton Elks, so he's CFL now. But he did a good stint. He did a good run. He's got a ring from the States when he was NFL. Right, and he hangs out in the backyard. We do, lamb birria tacos and stuff like that. And he has his own What's Cooking with JR is his Instagram thing, and he's all in with the food now. Awesome. He's still an active Elks player.
Yeah,
and he's here all the time. He brings so that again with the wife being an absolute saint, she looks out the window and there's 6 guys in my backyard that are bigger than me. Which never happens.
And you're a big guy.
And these guys are towering over me. I'm a tiny little guy all of a sudden. She's like, what the hell is going on out there? Who are all these people? I'm like, these are CFLers, and they're here to eat this lamb that we're cooking over the live fire, right?
God.
It's so cool, man. And you're absolutely right. This is... They're all taking to the barbecue kind of stuff. It's wild, man. And same deal with my hot sauce, Dustin Poirier.
Yeah.
is the only other ambassador for Heartbeat Hot Sauce.
Yep.
Me and Dustin Poirier. So like, it's crazy. The Diamond is my other guy, right?
Big-
So
big
hopefully
time.
I get down there to cook with him in 2023. I'm pumped, man. Pumped.
That's so cool.
That was all like very humble braggish, Mel. So you got your product and stuff out. So
Zing.
it's great. It's your show, and you still were able to work in all the stuff and the cool people you know. But I actually, Matt, and you could come in and help me out with this. As an American football fan, I got hung up on one thing that you said during that whole part that you were just saying.
Yes, sir.
I don't know about you, but for me, the team name Edmonton Elks does not strike a lot of fear in me as a football fan.
The fact that we're with a school
personally,
teacher
if I
right now.
was right,
Just
well,
gonna throw that in there. Why is that S in
Yeah.
that word? It doesn't make any sense. It's not a plural word. It's moose and moose. It's not meese or
that's
mooses, right? It's just moose. I know.
It's
I
true.
get it.
Yeah, I don't
Whatever.
know. The English language is a cruel mistress, my
It
friend.
sure is, buddy.
On
So,
both
yeah,
sides of the border.
Edmonton Elks.
Elks.
Whatever.
Edmonton Elks. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd like to see an elk. I don't know if
Yeah.
I'd play against an elk.
Yeah. They're
Like the
they
eat elk.
spook. They spook easy. You honk the horn, they disappear. That's, or cock a gun. That's all it takes. Click and they're gone. That's
Yeah, that's.
I want to hunt, man. I want to start hunting. I really, it's like something for 2023. I think I want to start getting into. I want to learn to hunt.
100%. You will come to Alberta.
Yeah.
You will be in my. Ted Nugent flies up here every year to hunt, like a couple of miles away from my house. So, Al Fragoni, when I'm in Texas, right? We're in Central Texas, and he takes me to all his butchers and everything, and he's like, "This guy's from Alberta." They're like, "Yeah, we go up there once a year." And Al's like, "What? You know Alberta?" They're like, "Yeah, that's where we go hunting because the deer in Texas look like coyotes, sick
God.
little coyotes." Man, it's.
I'm telling you, I have buddies all around that hunt, and they're always offering me venison, elk, all this stuff. I'm like, man, I want to instead of just giving it to me, I want to be there. I want to go out there and see it and be part of it.
Yeah.
So I just have a couple local friends here. There's a brewery that I just connected with from down in Maryland called Big Truck Farms, owned by, I posted some stories and stuff about them, but owned by Kip Fulks, who is the former owner, co-founder of Under Armour.
Nice.
He's boys with Cam Hanes and like that whole, group. Origin, brand that does a lot of hunting, gear and stuff like that. So I have a small connection with them and Kip now. So I'm going to try to get Kip to, it's only 2 hours south down in Maryland. So that's a nice, easy drive down to that brewery with the rig and maybe cook up some food and then start talking about them taking me out on a hunting trip.
Well, it's life up here, man. It's awesome. Everyone, our producer, the one who puts the show together, he just came back from a cold and miserable hunting trip.
Didn't see a goddamn thing.
Nothing.
One tiny little doe, and it wasn't worth the price of gutting it.
Oh my God.
It was a great 7 days in a tree, though. I'll be honest. It was very peaceful.
I bet. Yeah, I'm
Isn't that
excited.
the Ted Nugent
that's
song, 7 Days in a Tree?
Yeah,
one of my
he says.
2023 goals. I don't know about 7 days, but
Yep.
I could do a couple.
Yeah. No,
Well, it would have been a couple if I had saw something.
I moved to Florida last year, and they have. So I'm trying to get into fishing. That's our hunting down here is fishing, and like I really want to get into but the seasickness and going out on the boat, and so they've got charters here that will take you to sweet fishing spots, and they grease the wheels for you. They basically put the lures on, do the whole thing, and say, do this and put it in. You just start catching fish. So I know that sounds kind of weak, but
do you want to do that when I come up there or down there?
We should 100% do that when
because
My God, yes.
because Burton is across the bay from you. Burton is 30 minutes away. And
Burton,
that's
is that the guy that
from
owns
W
Sauce?
Sauce, who is a championship saltwater fisherman.
Listen, I've been
Well,
cooking
I belong to a boat club, and when I say that, I need to put my pinky up. I belong to. Well, when we moved down here, it's like buying a boat. Then you got to find the place, the marina to store it. And you got to do this. You got to clean it, or you could pay a fee a month, and you have
it's so
access to
stressful.
boats. So, yeah, it's very. Look, I'm tan. It's November. I'm feeling good. But anyway, I digress. I'm not here to talk about myself like Mel is in his hot sauce. I'm here to talk about you. And I'm getting. But anyway, we could get a boat from the boat club, go across the bay, and go pick that dude up and have some fun.
I'm coming down.
I'm super pumped to get to Florida.
You need to come, man.
As soon as I can.
I'm an open door kind of guy. Anytime.
I'm a 3-hour flight. 3 hours.
Matt,
flight.
you should
We've got 2 guest rooms. You should stuff the kids and the cats. No, because they're just
we have
dogs
sitters for
and
the cats
with the googly eyes and the goggles. It won't work out well. But if you bring the kids, and we're an hour and a half away from Orlando, you set up shop.
We'll drop
run
the kids
around.
off
We
to
cook together.
To grandma. I'm sure Kristen would be more than happy to take a trip to Florida for a few days.
I'm going to hold you to that, buddy, because I'm already booked. December 11th, I'm gone.
Oh,
I've
this
said
December?
it to.
I'm done.
So he's
Like
coming
right
down
now,
in 2
coming.
weeks.
I'm
In
coming.
2 weeks, you're going to be.
Have you seen
us
my
do
weather
all-
up here? Are you kidding? You want to go to Florida? I'm already packed, ready to go.
Right. Ugh.
Yeah.
God.
Last time he was here, he forgot his robe. Talking about an eyesight in the morning. My God.
I also left my underwear hanging over your fence by your pool.
You did. And my wife, talk about giving wives credit for the stuff they have to put up with. She was easy peasy when you were here. So that was really good.
I've shown my wife some of Mel's videos of him sitting in the hot tub with his, with his stogie, drinking, hanging out. It's like, God, it's beautiful.
Yeah, any port in a
And
storm,
when you
man,
see
as
it in
soon as
person
I
at
get
your
there.
house, it's amazing.
It's the best.
Yeah, I got some weird looks in his bathtub. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I kept it going anyway. That's
Well, the funny thing is, we don't have a bathtub, so that's why he's getting the funny looks. I'm like, Mel, you realize that's not a bathtub. That's our sink in the kitchen. And you're in there naked, drinking my bourbon, which is okay, but the front window's open and the neighborhood could see you. So
that's it.
Lucky them.
that's it.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's it.
it is Florida after all. No offense, people from Florida watching this episode, or Dallas.
We're down.
I have disenfranchised 2 whole states in this episode. Imagine that.
I love it. No, this was a fun episode, Matt. Thank you very much,
Yeah.
man.
Listen, this
was
I love
awesome.
what you guys are doing. It's nice to hop on a podcast and just be able to shoot the shit in a way that is different than most. I think I love what you guys are doing. It's very, to not sit and just constantly talk the whole time about social media and all that kind of stuff, to just kind of get to the
like what I asked you on
grassroots.
mine.
Yeah.
Well, that's the whole theme behind the show. And I'm glad it
Jordan-
conveyed, especially to a guest
Jordan,
like
your
you.
whole-
So
Your whole podcast, though, it's different when the theme of your podcast is essentially it's called Influential Barbecue. Like, there was a reason for your podcast, in terms of talking social media. So don't take that as a slight. But it's nice.
Oh, I did.
This is why you guys are so lucky to have Jordan involved in this.
100%. Our goal with this, honestly, Matt, our goal with this is to revisit this episode again in a year at a tailgate.
Yeah.
And have Jordan
Well, that
there
is,
live.
I mean,
no, really though. This is our
Mel and I are
going
to do the show. We're going to get in an RV and bring our cookers and sort of do the road show with this once we kind of get this up and running. The next phase of it will be us taking this on the road and doing a proper cook and hang out, and then an after the cook where we're all sitting around, and that's when we're going to record the episode.
Well, you guys will always have a place here. I have the here's the I'll set the scene for the after the cook. Here's our
nice.
little fire
Oh, yeah.
sitting area.
Awesome.
All right, we'll cook. We'll cook probably somewhere.
Solid balls on your fire pit table.
Yeah, that's it.
There's a little fire pit. Got a couple grills there. Got
Awesome.
my rusted.
Are those canoes that I
Mel,
just saw?
I'm gonna have to call you. I got my rusted ass offset here that I haven't touched yet.
Nice.
Frank from Smoker Builders built me that. It's just a backyard patio cooker, but it's been sitting out. It doesn't have a cover. It's all rusted. I can get rid of that, right? I can clean that up pretty easy. I haven't even fired it up yet.
Just one big fire and a pound of lard, and you're ready to go, man.
Set. Yeah,
That's
we have canoes. So you guys would love it here. This is called Medford Lakes. We actually have 5 lakes in the area. There's beaches. It's beautiful out here, Macy. My house is kind of like a lot of the houses are like the log cabin style. You know,
Nice.
It's really just beautiful here. Beautiful little town and small. You just got to watch this road here because the drivers here they hit your dogs and drive away.
Yeah, right there. that's it, eh? That's because all I know about Jersey is like if there's a lake, there's people in it. So
yes, the lakes are awesome.
Yeah,
lakes are great here.
Awesome. So Matt, this is the time and place for you to plug anything you got to plug or do any of that stuff. Feel free to jump in and where are they going to follow you? How are they going to find you? All of that stuff. I'm sure they already do, but just in case.
Yeah, man. Groark Boys Barbecue everywhere. God, right now, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. I've been pretty active on Snapchat lately. I think Jordan and I talked a bit on his podcast about Snapchat, and that's continued to go in the direction we were talking about. So, Rub City, huge sale now. Prices are dropping, and I think they're going to stay that way. So we're going to continue to, get that out there. Some sponsored. Finally did our first sponsored post with Rub City. So we're excited about that. And stay tuned for post Super Bowl.
Right on.
Keep
right
your TVs on.
dude.
Don't go to bed. After the Eagles win the Super Bowl, stay awake, have another beer, and watch whatever show happens to come on after the Super Bowl.
Wicked. That's awesome.
And
man.
the follow-on episodes.
Yep. That's
At
awesome.
least one.
Pretty cool stuff. I appreciate
Wicked,
you guys,
man.
man. This was a lot of fun.
Oh, cheers,
Yeah,
brother.
guys.
Thank you very much for coming on, man.
You know it.
Boom. And that's it for another episode of After the Cook. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys very much for watching.
And make sure to follow us on all the social media channels at After the Cook. Subscribe to us on YouTube. And again, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys soon.